Have you seen it? There's a theory that Harry Styles is bald. Have you seen it?
No.
It's really good. There's some pictures of him that look very wiggy. Here's the thing. Good for them. They're out having fun. But twice I saw actual ass, as in like their whole entire ass is out on the tube. What is going on?
I don't understand.
If I show them my ass, problem.
Nobody wants to see your ass.
I didn't want to see their ass.
There's a good point. And I was going to say, some of them. That's how it is.
What I was going to say was, whenever I cut to your camera for some reason today, it looks like... Do you remember the game Shadow of Destiny?
Yeah.
Wait. Is that the game I mean?
I don't know.
What's the game Shadow of Destiny to you?
Shadow of Destiny. Wait, am I getting confused with Shadow of Darkness?
You're thinking of Shadow of Darkness. Okay, so I have said the right one.
Okay.
So there's Shadow of Darkness, which was a great PlayStation 1 game about a boy in a treehouse and there were monsters.
He had a dog?
He had a dog. It was scary and hard.
Yeah.
And I was a little...
and hard.
The game was hard.
And it got you hard.
So that's Shadow of Darkness. Then Shadow of Destiny. Do you remember Shadow of Destiny?
I don't think I do remember Shadow of Destiny.
Get with me here, because I'm certain we played it as a collective. It was a PC game by I want to say Konami, where you could go back in time and you would die, and then you had to go back in time and prevent your death.
I don't think I played it, dude.
Shut up! You had to.
I don't think I did.
It was like a proper, like going back to our childhood.
Yeah, but I don't
PC
think I
room
did.
In the Titanic room playing Shadow of Destiny, and then when you walked, they had the most horrific sound for walking. It was like. So every time you walked, you were like, it was crazy.
I don't think I played it.
It was really tall, dude. Yeah, and you would die. Like, let's say it started easy. Like, someone came, stop, bang, it started easy. Someone would, like, stab you. So you would have to put a bin lid in your jacket. So you go back in time and you put a bin lid in your jacket, right? Simples. But then, like, some of them were like, oh... You were looking at a movie poster, and there was a group of people looking at this movie poster, and they're like, "Oh no, that's not any good because he made that one movie and it flopped." And then they all leave, and then you're left on your own, and someone kills you. And the way you had to stop it was that you had to go back in time, find the movie director, convince him not to make the other film. So then when people see the poster, they're like, "This film's great," and they stay for longer, and then the guy doesn't kill you. It was like so in depth. But you could go back to like the 1800s or something, and it looked like this. It looked like your camera. I can't believe you can't remember this game, dude.
I don't think I ever played it. I think I must have been playing like Call of Duty 2 or something at the time.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's like all I played as a kid.
Yeah, that's what all we both played. Should we roll the intro?
Might as well. Ew.
It's a poddy.
It's a poddy.
How's your week been?
It's been alright. We went to see Penn and Teller.
We did.
That was good.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Awesome.
It was such a great show. Yeah. I'm big into magic, so I've always watched their shows, and some of it were like, I've seen them do this a couple times on TV. The rope one, where it was like one person on stage will get the experience and everyone else will see how it's done. I've seen them do that a couple times. But yeah, it was such a good show.
It was good. It was entertaining. It was funny.
Some of the tricks I'm like absolutely baffled by, which I think is the beauty. If you go see a top magic trick, they should show you something that no one else will show you.
Yeah, and then also some tricks weren't that impressive, and I think it's just because I've seen them so many times.
It's also the nature of the beast. They're not like, a lot of the times they're like,
what I was going to say is even the tricks that weren't that impressive from a magic standpoint, they were still funny and entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good job. One little caveat, right? I'm going to have a little moan. I think I spoke to you briefly at the time, right? But I don't understand how grown adults can't sit through an hour without going to the toilet.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, that was annoying.
I'll give the benefit of a doubt, like to people that have got, I don't know, bladder problems or something or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you're a grown ass adult. Like the amount of people that get up through a performance like that is crazy. I'm talking like there's probably one person every 5 minutes. Like,
yeah. And also the one that was most notable was that so Penn and Teller, if people don't know, everyone knows, right?
Surely, yeah. They're one of the biggest acts.
They are two like Vegas magicians. Their whole point has been like they reveal a lot of tricks and show how it's done, but they still make it very entertaining. But Teller is on stage, his persona is a mute, so he doesn't speak when he's on stage. And it means that there are times where he'll be doing something and it's really captivating. So the whole crowd is silent. Like, everyone is just silent watching this one person do like a monologue, but what he's doing is a joke or whatever it is. But the one that really was annoying was that he was doing one where everyone was absolutely captivated watching him like do the trick, and then suddenly you have loads of people getting up because Sharon had to go and have a piss.
Yeah, like, and again, I don't know if this is just me, like, I'm being too, like, I don't know, tyrannical.
Okay, you're just gonna kill him.
It's the coughs. It's the coughs. Oh, what are you doing?
That's Dr.
Absolute
Hook.
idiot.
Hit a button.
Moron.
Sorry, everybody.
No, but it's the coughs. It's the coughs as well. And I think it's maybe in a performance like Penn and Teller, it's more noticeable because, like you said, there are moments in that show where it's completely silence.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to, like, even like going to theatre and stuff. I'm like, we're in the height of summer, right? How many people are walking around with a cold? I don't get it. I feel like a lot of the coughs, they're not like cold coughs. Do you know what I mean? They're like,
it's like clearing your throat.
Yeah, they're like dickhead coughs. I call them. Like, it's unbearable.
Yeah,
and it makes me. It makes me. It's like I hate going to the cinema, right? Because there's people there.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Because I've always been like, and if there's a film I really want to see, right, I will wait for as long as possible to go see it, right. And I'll go and see it on my own. Because I've never understood that as well. Like, you're going to see a film. I don't want to sit with someone that might talk to me throughout the film or whatever. Like, I just want to sit and watch the goddamn film. And when you go with, like, friends and stuff, there's always one person that is there because the friends have decided to go to the cinema. Mm-hmm. And not because they want to watch the film. So there's always like one or two people that are pissing around or on their phones or whatever. So it's like, one, I go on my own to the cinema, and two, I wait for as long as possible until like the last week it's showing in cinemas, because then I'm like, there's no one there. Mm-hmm. I've never understood it, and it's like, I think just going to Penn and Teller just brought that back in me. And I know it's probably it is unreasonable, but it just annoys me. It makes me angry.
Yeah. I'm with you though. I think people fucking suck. Phones going off, like,
oh my god!
But also the same phone.
I know. There was one guy somewhere behind us to the left, and I know it was the same ringtone. It was from the exact same location at least 3 times.
Yeah.
I wanted to get up.
Yeah,
I wanted to get up and literally say, "Get your goddamn phone off!"
Or just go, "Give me your phone. Give me your phone," and just treat him like a teacher.
Put it on silent. Like, I don't understand. One as well. I don't understand people that have bloody ringtones anyway.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. I don't understand the phone on loud. My phone. The only time my phone rings, right, and it actually makes a noise, is when I've accidentally knocked the bloody button.
I have to say, as I've gotten older, it happens more and more frequently.
Oh yeah, sometimes I knock it. Sometimes I knock it on and whatever. But I just don't understand.
But here's what happens.
Don't understand.
Even in my house, just me, my phone rings. I'm like, oh shit, and I put it on mute. If I was sat with thousands of people watching Penn and Teller, and my phone's like, how? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Well, this is what I don't care who you are, right? How important are you that you have to have your phone on?
Yeah.
When you're going to like a performance or something, like, oh my god,
agreed.
That is the worst. And if you're that person, right, that your phone goes off, right, that's fine, right? But if you're the person that your phone goes off for a second time, you're a
yeah, I agree.
You're a scum. You're a scum of the earth.
Should we talk about some things? I had something to bring up.
Oh, okay.
This is maybe old news. This has been kicking around for a while. But do you know? Have you seen it? There's a theory that Harry Styles is bald. Have you seen it?
No.
It's really good. There's some pictures of him that look very wiggy. They look very like, what's your hair doing? Should I get one of them? I think I found a TikTok of someone who's...
Do you wear wigs? No, I do not. Have you worn wigs?
This is the picture.
A great
okay.
meme as well, by the way. Great meme.
Look! Look! What's that?
Oh, he's taken off a wig!
Maybe.
So, yeah, there's a big... Oh, there's just Lewis Capaldi coming up now. So there's a big thing about maybe Harry Styles is bald.
Maybe he's bald.
That's all I've got there. I don't know. We could talk about Harry Styles. He's obviously touring at the moment. We saw that when we went to Penn and Teller because of all of the
my god. I've never seen so many Harry Styles t-shirts.
Okay, that's the most political way of saying that. I was going to say all of the whores on the tube. Here's the thing, good for them. They're out having fun. But twice I saw actual ass, as in like their whole entire ass is out on the tube. What is going on?
I don't understand.
If I show them my ass, problem.
Nobody wants to see your ass.
I didn't want to see their ass.
There's a good point. And I was going to say, because some of them,
But they're the ones in a little modest, nice little summer dress. I don't know, but yeah, I don't. And I think I said to you at the time, I'm like, what's the? Is it like? Look, they know that Harry Styles probably isn't going to finger them.
Yeah. Well, I know.
But he might.
I know, definitely not the ones we saw.
No. But I think in their head they're like, but he might. He might. So they're like, I need him not to have a moment to think about it, and he can just straight away, he can slap my bum or whatever he wants to do. He has easy access.
I think this is just the world we live in now, right? With like body positivity, right? But in my shape right now, right? Mm-hmm. If I wanted to impress a girl that I liked, the fucking last thing I'm doing is showing any of my body.
yeah. I get weird even at the beach, right? And here's the thing.
I wear a t-shirt at the beach.
Here's the thing. I could take my top off
even
at the beach.
Before I was fat. Even back when I was like in decent shape.
No, I had a year where I would take my top off at the beach. There was a year where I was in really good shape.
Because even for me, I would always be then self-conscious about like
your nipples,
like people,
your weird nipples,
or like lack of body hair, or
I can make up whatever I want.
Something I'm self-conscious about everything. But even when I wasn't fat, I'd be like, oh my god, look how skinny my arms are, or something, or like all these dudes walking around like fucking huge. Fair enough. I know it's like I don't really care, but at the same time I do care. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But what I'm saying is I don't understand some of these girls know what they look like. Surely, are they that deluded?
They're all, and it's all the same. It'll be like a sequin dress that they look like sequin skirt that looks like they've got from like a party shop. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's just a pink sequin skirt. Their whole ass is out. Like if they fart, you'd see it. Do you know what I mean? Right. And then like boots, usually cowboy boots for Harry Styles. I don't know why. And then an I Heart Harry Styles top. And that's it. They're all in their little uniform. I don't know. Good for him. It must be a weird feeling. I
mean, again though, the cowboy boots is a weird one as well. If you're trying to attract Harry Styles, you're going to go to a concert wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah, it says.
I can't think of anything worse.
I don't know.
How minging are those feet going to be?
Yeah. He's like, come here.
Let me just slip off these boots.
He slips on the absolute stink of them. I don't know. Let's talk about Harry Styles for a bit because obviously he's touring at the moment. It's probably the biggest tour happening currently, right? I would say. I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, well, Lewis Capaldi's cancelled his, didn't he?
Yeah, he cancelled a bunch of dates for mental health, which we touched on when Sam Smith cancelled their dates, and it was we kind of said the same thing. It's like it's a shame for people that had tickets, but do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Lewis Capaldi, it's the same. But no, Harry Styles is touring. I think it's the biggest one at the moment. Can I say now and go on record that I think, and this will annoy loads of people, Harry Styles has to be the most overrated musician at the moment. And what I'll caveat.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't think he's bad. I think he's pretty good.
I think he's pretty good. He's fine.
But for sure overrated.
He's fine, but I think in 5 years, it won't be Harry Styles, right? And it's weird. Unless he changes what he's doing now, his music will not stand the test of time. There are some pop artists and some pop songs that are like, okay, this is the top pop song and it will be around forever. Taylor Swift, for example, there was an era of Taylor Swift that will just always be about, right? I Knew You Were Trouble, Blank Space, all of that nonsense was just like, if you hate pop music, you can still listen to it and go, this is good pop music. This is doing what it needs to do. I don't think Harry Styles is that good pop music. I don't understand it. I think what's happening is all of the people that loved One Direction and they were like of 13 when One Direction happened, they all fancied Harry Styles. Harry Styles is their Gary Barlow, is their Ronan Keating. This is what's happening. So when people look at like a Take That concert, and it's full of 50 to 60-year-old women, that is the path for Harry Styles, but he's just capturing them now. Do you know what I mean?
No, I see.
And then they're all going to be like grandmas that will go to Wembley.
Yeah, I mean, it's like even now with like Tom Jones. Like, if you go to like a Tom Jones concert,
yeah,
it's predominantly made up of old ladies.
Absolutely, good for him.
Yeah,
he's
just taking his he's taking his audience with him.
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
think that's what's going to happen.
Speaking of bands that will stand the test of time,
yeah,
the Beatles, right?
Yeah,
because they're releasing a new song, right?
Right. I'm not in on this. What's happened?
Paul McCartney has announced that a new and final Beatles song is about to be released using AI.
Oh no!
How tragic is this, right? So he's
I really hope
so
for
basically
better.
using using AI. There's probably some UI involved in it as well.
Maybe for the person making the AI.
Yeah. So they're using AI. They're like synthesizing John Lennon's voice to make the song. So they're going to be using like composites from old songs, right, to make this new song with AI. What do you think about that? Because
I'm really conflicted.
Like,
actually,
my opinion is like, okay, cool. There's part of me that's like, okay, it's cool. We'll get a new Beatles song, right? But then there's another part of me that is just like, this is weird. This is bad. It's not good. It's not real. Like, where does it end as well? Where does it go from here?
Yeah.
Do we then just, what's the point of having artists? Are we then going to get into a world where we just start making Jimi Hendrix albums and stuff? And there's a part of me that is just like, Paul McCartney, you really need to just let it be. Like, just let it be. Just let it be.
No, that's terrible.
Just let it be.
You were so happy with it as well. I cut into your old camera. How long did you have that?
But, honestly,
it had to have
like,
been a little bit
just before I started talking about
enough time to think about it.
But
right, no,
do you not think though?
Here's,
like just leave it out.
I'll talk you through my reaction to it. First was when you were talking, you were like, "Oh, there's going to be a new Beatles song." My head went, "Is it because there was one they didn't release? Is it because there was like they must have?" Because from my side, I can tell you when I write a song, I write 50 songs.
Yeah, for every good song that you write,
terrible.
there's 49 of them that are crap.
100%. And I'm sure there are people that aren't that. When I was in my old band, who I'll go back to in a bit, because the songs have just resurfaced from that, and it wasn't as bad as I thought, I think. But the other singer, George, who wrote the songs, we had a bit of a Beatles situation, just bad, but he would write some of the songs and I'd write some of the songs. But he is very much, I have a song, I've written a song, and we knew it'd be good and it'd go to stage. So there wasn't much of a process with him because he just wrote good songs, right? So in my head, I thought, is it because there was a song that they're sat on? Like when they were recording, he's gone through the B-sides and he's listened to one. He's like, this doesn't actually sound that bad. Is that what happened? And then you told me it was AI. Immediate disappointment.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think is saving it for me is that you've said it's the final one. So
that's what he
this
said.
can be the last Beatles song and he can release it. And it'll be huge, right? He'll get a massive old paycheck from it because they'll be able to release a new Beatles track, right? That's mental. So a part of it is like the capacity to do that is brilliant. But where do we draw the line here?
Well, that's
he's
my
obviously
point.
He's going to write the songs, so it will still have the essence of a Beatles song back then, maybe, if he's still been writing, if he's been keeping that muscle fresh. So it's like, I don't know. It's great that it can empower someone in that position to reunite with their old best friend and make one last hurrah is cool. But then it's like, well, why don't they just make Beatles albums then? Why don't they make Beatles AI? Why don't they just get AI to write a Beatles song?
But then
why does Paul McCartney need to be involved?
But then I also just think it's kind of a weird precedent to start setting, right? Because now we're going to start making songs with people that aren't alive anymore.
Yeah.
Right? I just think like that could lead to a whole load of different weird situations.
Probably using...
And in the world we live in right now, with like copyright laws getting flung out with AIs and stuff like that and all sorts of crap, I don't know how I feel about it. I just don't like it.
It's weird.
It's weird to me. I'm like, but he has said it's only like a one-off. But the other thing is, right, Beatles are like one of the most well-known bands on the planet, right? Most influential bands on the planet. Legacy, right? And no matter what, their legacy will be maintained, right? Or maintained, But what if this song is crap?
Yeah. What if it's like?
What if this song is so crap?
What's funny though as well is that Beatles, when they were knocking about, were commercial pop. Like people hate to know that they were a boy band. They were One Direction. They were the exact same. And then at the time, people were like, "Oh, I don't like the Beatles because they're a boy band." So it's like it'll be interesting because now, what's the equivalent? Like, do they need to make a One Direction song?
Oh my god, are we also gonna have like? Are we gonna start seeing like legacy properties, right, that are dead, like Jimi Hendrix, right?
Yeah.
The Jimi Hendrix estate, whoever owns that, right, will then let's start making Jimi Hendrix music.
But
it's like it's like regurgitated pop just with Jimi Hendrix voice.
It's also how sustainable
and some crap.
Is this? Like how sustainable is it for this? Like with tech, there's always like VR and gaming, for example, I think is a good example because it came out and it was a cool thing. I don't think it's ever picked up the way they thought it would. They thought, I think by now we all should just be playing VR games.
Well, I think
that won't ever happen.
I think they're starting to see this with the metaverse. The metaverse is dying. It's dead. They just had a fashion gala, right? That was in the metaverse.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the most douchey thing I've ever heard of. But basically, if you wanted to go to the fashion gala, you had to buy a ticket, and then you could, like, in your virtual world, you sit there and watch these virtual models walking up. And craziest thing I've ever seen. But, like, hardly anyone went to this, like, virtual gala.
I bet it cost so much.
Probably,
tens of millions.
Honestly, because they were all these like high-end, like fashion, like brands and stuff. So I think we are starting to see that actually, like, no one really wants that. Mm-hmm. Like this whole sort of like, what's that film where they're in the game?
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. This whole sort of Ready Player One scenario where everyone spends every day, all day in a virtual world.
Yeah,
we're starting to see that people don't actually want that.
No, well, right. And I can say as well, from the gaming perspective, right, VR was always interesting, right? I could play F1 VR, right? But here's the problem. What people want from gaming isn't the 100% disconnect. Like, people don't want that. There are some, and those are the people that bought it. But for me to be sat in a room with a headset on, not aware of my surroundings, with my little 2-year-old knocking around, do you know what I mean? And what are we doing? Whereas, you know, I can ignore him, but I can at least glance at him when I'm playing FIFA or whatever it is.
And I want to still be able to, like, have a beer, scratch me nuts, sure. You know, maybe reach into the bag of Doritos.
Zuckerberg's like, yeah, you can do all of that in the headset.
Yeah, you've got a drip. You get a drip, right? That's like...
That's good.
And then it's just like, I don't know, neural implants and
it's
stuff
weird.
that make you feel like you're eating a Dorito. But I think my other point is that, like, is it then also a weird, this weird sketchy grey area where you're then getting someone that's dead, right, to then put words in their mouth. You're essentially you're making them act and say stuff now. Yeah. And they're dead. They can't defend what you're getting them to say or whatever. Really it's to me it's almost the same. And people, this happened a few months ago, right? The deep fake stuff. Did you know about the deep fake?
Yeah, sure.
So there were, like, specifically this was happening with streamers. Like, female streamers were getting deep faked into, like, porn, like, films and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing. And pretty much everyone was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Right? This is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not like exactly the same, because it's not like, I don't know, I'm sure.
You're not monking off
yeah,
John
I'm sure
Lennon.
they're not going to put Paul McCartney on, like, I don't know, any Sims. Jimmy Sims?
Jimmy Sims is the bassist. I
get confused. I get mixed up.
Bass for George
you might have to blank that.
That's fine.
With there's a porn star called Sims.
Johnny Sims.
Johnny Sims.
Johnny Sins.
Johnny Sins. Yeah.
You did a real sassy.
Johnny Sins. It's not like they're going to put Paul McCartney on Johnny Sins, right? Well, we're definitely going to back. This is like Linus all over them. Gaff. But it's in the same area. It's in the same you're without anyone's consent. You're putting words.
Do you know the Rick and Morty. There's a Rick and Morty episode where they're in a simulation, and Jerry, who's like the typical basic human, right, is in a car, and they're panicking, and they're like, "Oh no, the simulation isn't strong enough to replicate human music." And it's like, and it comes in, and the radio's like, "And now we listen to some human music."
Yeah.
And it's like, boop,
Yeah.
boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This is great," and everyone loves it. At what point is that going to be the reality where the majority of our music is just made by robots?
Oh,
And isn't that the correct? Like that's a real thing that's happening now. Is that there are AI you can listen to like anyone you want. Freddie Mercury singing "Wet Ass Pussy," you can listen to it, right? Frank Sinatra singing whatever. That is a reality now. So like the computers are making our music for us. So when you watch films and it's like everyone's plugged into the mainframe and all of this shit, it's happening, and it's scary.
Well, yeah, especially because like. I'm not saying this, like, none of this crazy stuff, like AI taking over the world, is going to happen in our lifetime, hopefully, right? But who knows where we're going to be in 100 years or 200 years, right?
Yeah.
But today, right now, we already have AI that is, like, self-aware.
Yeah.
We already have AI that is self-aware and manipulating humans in order to get tasks done.
Isn't there? There's a bunch of instances. Yeah, we've spoken
about it on the podcast with the AI that pays a human on Fiverr and lies to say that, like, I'm a blind person and I need a capture test that get passed, whatever.
There's been other things where they've been like, okay, solve this or come up with this, and they've had to unplug the computer because they can't stop it from like the fault it's in. It's mental.
Yeah,
scary.
So that's already happening now. Jesus knows where we're going to be in like 50 years, 100 years.
Why don't we bring Jesus back for a robot?
Jesus is bad as well.
There we go. Jesus is bad.
Not a fan of Jesus.
So the Beatles are back. Harry Styles is bold.
Yeah.
I saw a video.
Taylor Swift's dad or someone. Someone in Taylor Swift. Something about them selling her master's catalogue.
Oh, right.
Without her permission or something. And they made like, I want to say like 250 million or something.
That's interesting. I wish I had a more reliable source of information, or even just.
I literally I skimmed past it a minute ago before we started. Something about.
That's really interesting.
Something in a record label, right? Or someone that
this
like
is
they
old.
were putting the. Yeah, I know, but it's only but I think the masters is new though.
Scooter Braun shares his regret after purchasing Taylor Swift's music catalogue. This happened as well. There was quite a big thing about this where it became very trendy pre-COVID, and throughout COVID, people were doing this. They were like, I can just offer you X amount of money, and then we own all of your music. There's a guy who, you know, like David Dobrik and all of that lot, like the Vlog Squad. I think one of them is a musician. A very interesting case study, because he's like, his music's pretty interesting, right? It's like rap, but like with a twist. I actually enjoy the music a lot, but he has said on a podcast that he sold all of his music, and it was like, you can get $1 million or whatever. We'll just give you the check, but we own all of it. It's a crazy thing to do, because for me, the biggest thing you could ever do is own your own shit, right? Yeah. All of the richest people in the world. J.K. Rowling's a great example. The reason why she's so rich,
she owns
is because she
everything.
owns the franchise. Yeah. She never gave away the rights. What could have happened is she could have been like, I have a great book, and she probably, I know the stories are that she got rejected 1 million times, right? But she probably got multiple offers for the book, and a bunch of them were like, yep, we'll give you X amount of money, we'll own it all, right? And then they're the ones that make the money. That's what happens. The music industry, that's what happens too. But yeah, it's a huge thing. I can see now, it's the same of the master catalogue for a previous record is now, I think it's worth $140 million. Although the numbers seem off, because they spent nearly $700 million.
I think there was something to do with the business. They bought the whole company.
I was about to say, I think they've bought multiple. They haven't. And then you end up seeing, like, you'll have people where they then will re-release stuff or re-record stuff, and it's because they're trying to get the rights of it, but it's like the ship's already sailed.
Well, I think that's what Taylor Swift has done, because I think a lot of people are saying that she's come out on top because she's made so much money because of re-releases.
I would say Taylor Swift. She's probably fine.
This is the thing. When I was reading it, I was like, I can't really give a shit because, I mean, like, it's like if you told me that someone had, stolen 10 million from Elon Musk, right? I'd be like, that's pretty bad. I hope they catch him. But I don't care.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna chip in for Elon Musk. You know.
He's GoFundMe.
So he's lost 10 million. We need to raise some money.
So Scooter acquired the Masters in 2019. He then sold it for $300 million to a private equity company, which I'm saying that's gross. If you're a big rich company, like, what can we do? Let's just buy the rights to people's music. Go fuck yourself. So it means. I don't know what that means. The acquisition does not allow Taylor the creative freedom of owning her own songs, which obviously they've gone from one person to another, not hers. When you're banging it out to I Knew You Were Trouble, I think Tay-Tay's not making any money from that anymore, but she did fine. I keep seeing Taylor Swift TikToks, and I've had maybe 20 of people taking the piss out of it, of her introing songs. Have you seen this?
No.
Where she'll be like, and now I want to tell you about a time I was reading a book, and I got to the last page, and I struggled to finish the story.
I've not seen this.
Because there was a blank space, and then they'd start playing blank space, and that's that. People were doing that.
To be fair, right, that is shit.
I
love it.
People were taking the piss out of it, right? So all of these videos were coming up of these like mental, like it's like POV, you're Taylor Swift introducing a song, and I never understood what they were doing. I saw one, and it's real. It's like it is 100% that corny and cheesy. Every single song she'll stop.
But I think like I agree that is ridiculous, but I think it's great. I think it's great.
I've lost it now.
And
here we go. No, do you want one? Do you want one?
Yeah,
do you want to see a real
one?
one?
Give it to me.
Let's so this is Taylor Swift introducing I Knew You Were Trouble.
So this is a song that I wrote about. I don't know if you've ever been here, you know the feeling when somebody walks in and you think to yourself, I know that person's probably, what's the word? Trouble.
It's the face as well, though. It's the, and then this is actually, I think this is the.
I have a bruise on my leg, but before the bruise was purple, it was maroon.
This was just someone doing it, but that's what I saw before. I think I saw a different one, but it was just really funny. I was like, I saw her do that TikTok, and I was like, there's no way it can be as bad as she's making it out.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's
pretty bad. I was trying to defend her a little bit because I think it's kind of cool, but that is also ridiculous.
I think it's possibly to give Taylor some credit.
It fits in with her crowd.
It fits in with her show. It fits in with her vibe, but also I wonder how much of it is now almost like self-deprecating humor.
Yeah,
like
probably.
she probably did it once, thinking it was good, and then people have done that video, and now she's like,
I'm going
to do it as ridiculous as I can.
I'll tell you now, right? As long as you don't take it the wrong way and you can laugh at yourself, right? When you make if you responsible for a TikTok trend,
yeah,
no problem.
However it comes about,
like, it's nothing but good. It's nothing but a good thing.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot more. I mean, I saw Sting from was it Sting from the Police, or was it someone from U2? They're the same thing to me, to be honest.
No, the Police are not the same as U2. I mean, they're both pretty douchey.
Let me just mute this and Sting. It is Sting.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that Every Breath You Take, okay, cool, was sampled without his permission by Diddy.
Okay.
And the lawsuit that happened means that he gets paid $2,000 a day because Diddy used the song without permission.
That is crazy.
So every single day he makes $2,000 from Diddy.
Diddy
pays him $2,000 every single
crazy.
day for the rest of his life. Which is insane, right?
That is crazy.
What's
Do you know what's the best about? Do you know what the weird thing is? Right, is neither of those people care probably. Like he's getting $2,000 a day, which is nothing.
Yeah.
And he's losing $2,000 a day, which is nothing.
Yeah, what I
It's
would
like
do,
they might. It's like I actually judge Sting a little bit. What is the point? What's the point
Yeah,
of doing?
fuck
What's the
off.
point?
It's principle, though, isn't it? It's principle. What if AI use your music now? What are you going to do there?
He should donate that $2,000 he gets every day to charity.
So that's. Can you just say, without even doing maths? I want you to just immediately answer me.
But a year?
2,000 a day. How much? No, yeah, $2,000 a day. How much you get a year? Go.
700,000.
Really, 730,000.
Yeah.
But so 730k a year is his Diddy's salary.
He can just do nothing now.
I would have
Split his
that. I would
feet
be
up
putting
every
that in
day.
a separate pool. And if I ever go to Vegas or something, I'd be like, okay, but I'm not using.
No,
my
but I'm
money.
just
gonna
saying.
use my
I'm just
Diddy
saying.
money.
Right, that is because that's free money essentially, right? That's
Yeah.
like the kind of that's to us, right? This is how pathetic our lives are, and most people's lives compared to that comparative.
Yeah.
I'm not saying our lives are pathetic or your lives are pathetic. Is it hot in here?
Apart from if you have $2,000 a day.
Yeah.
something.
But what I'm saying that's our equivalent is when you get a pair of jeans out of the wash and there's like £20 note in there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I haven't worn these jeans in 6 months.
Yeah.
Or that's now free
or
money.
like, whenever Becky drives any of her grandparents anywhere, you always give her like a tenner or 20 quid.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't have anything else beyond that. I saw a video of Pink doing Pink stuff.
Pink stuff.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And I didn't know how to feel about it. I'll show you. I'll just fuck it. Why not? Right. We're here now, aren't we? I think I've muted it. I'll unmute it. That's insane.
That's too much.
look. And she's gone.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Why is she getting quieter as she's going?
Look at her. Now she's just up there. What does she do, though?
That's too much. That's too much. I mean, fair play to her, but
Honestly.
because that's
And
some,
she's
that's
still
some-
singing.
she's spinning.
She's
spinning.
She's like, so
Fucking.
Can we watch her face at the
absolutely
beginning as well, where she knows
mental.
what's going down? Look, and she's on the little trapeze. Look at her eyes, are fucking crazy. She's so moist from this. And she's gone.
I can't stop
What's
watching
funny
it.
as well is
I can't stop. What is she doing?
What's funny is how slowly she goes up, and then the camera pans around. She's fucking miles away.
Like in that freeze frame, she looks like one of those weird spiders that jumps across the room.
It's
What
wild.
is that? It's too much. It's too much.
Oh no!
That's,
Oh no!
That's
no,
ridiculous.
No!
That's
Oh,
ridiculous.
I might have to bleep that. I don't know. Well, I just accidentally played the Whitney Houston clip. That
Definitely
we played a
bleep
couple
it.
weeks
Otherwise,
ago.
those
The Russians won't be able to
Russians
hear.
won't like it. The Ruskies.
I don't know what. Yeah, well, no. Whitney Houston doesn't want the Russians to hear her music. I think is. What
Oh well, then I don't like Whitney Houston.
I did have. Do you know Richard in the corner with his recorder? He's been going mad. Like he popped off from that. Do you know?
can't
My
remember.
name's Richard and I'm sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Popped off. I've got two. I sent two. We can just listen to one because let's not be too Richard heavy. But he's riding the wave of his Richard in the corner.
I'm still laughing at Pink.
yeah. Well, he's not doing this at the show. I can tell you that. So you can either get the flute. He has a flute version. Or he did recorder in the corner sad version.
Oh,
So
sad.
it's up to you.
So
Should we
we
listen
just
to that?
had something very funny.
Yeah, let's bring
Let's
it down.
balance it.
My name is Richard and I'm sitting in the corner. Sitting in the corner playing my recorder. It's cold in here and it isn't getting warmer.
Oh, that's a good line.
That's good. That's good bars.
And I'm really thirsty but I've run out of water.
That one was a stretch. But hey, look, he's
I
just
love
doing
it.
the Stanford.
I
He loves. I love that so much.
He might be my
Can we
favourite.
get him on?
He might be my favourite.
Could we reach out and get him on the
That
show?
is, I love it. I love it. I love
Real
as well.
talk,
I love
Pete.
the sad inflection that he puts in his voice as well. Like,
Yeah. That's phenomenal. He's crushing it, man. Like, what a great... And he's just crushing social
It's
media.
great,
He's
it's
going
great.
mad. He
It's
knows
great.
what he's doing. It's brilliant.
It's great.
We should
It's
get him
good
on the
stuff.
podcast. Can we interview him?
I mean, let's have this conversation after.
He's English, right?
I don't know.
I guess he's English. What? So my name is Richard and I'm sitting in the corner playing the recorder. He's got to be English. I don't know. I've never heard a more English.
He's got an
sort of
English
geezer.
name.
Yeah.
He's got
An
English
instrument?
humour
Tell
and an
me
English instrument. I don't think there's any
One
other
time
country
you've
that
ever seen an
I don't
American
think,
on a recorder.
I don't think anyone. No, definitely not. If you say, "Have you ever played a recorder?" They're like,
Like
"What?
a
You don't
voice
play a
recorder?
recorder."
Yeah, like a Walkman.
Yeah,
Like a Walkman. Okay, let's listen to music.
yeah, let's do it.
That's a good little. That was the most on topic. We didn't speak about the golf that's happening currently. We didn't speak about. F1
Don't
that's
mention
happening
anything.
currently. There's a Charlton
Like, there's so
takeover.
much sport happening.
I know.
I'm like, I could be watching the Ashes. I could be watching the golf, and there's Formula One today.
Yeah.
Right. And we're not talking about any of it.
I know.
I feel like we've grown up.
I think this is strong. This is a strong move by us. We have. I need to read this properly because it's all one word, but it's the Mike Delis, the Mike Delic. Okay, I think it's the Mikeadelic experience.
The Mikeadelic experience. That makes more sense.
I always get them wrong when people have it written a certain way and you have to say it certain. The Mikeadelic experience.
I can't
is our
do
first
that.
band.
I can't. Whenever someone just writes like a name,
Yeah.
all one word, no,
Uh-huh.
I can't read it.
It's tough.
I
We've
always
said
say it
before
wrong.
about people will give you their email and they'll spell it and they'll be like, it's Jenny, Jen, and by that point, I'm like, I can't spell Jenny now because you're reading it out to me.
What I
Just let me
need,
guess.
what I need is this, right? J, E, N.
They're like, no, I said N.
No, yeah, I'm exactly the same. Whenever someone spells out a name, just like
It's tough.
all in one go.
The Mikeadelic experience.
So sorry. On that same note,
Yeah.
right? People just assume
Your
they
gender.
assume that you should know how to spell their name, right? But it'll be a name like.
Careful.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I didn't know where you were going.
But
I
no,
got scared.
it'll be a name. I can't.
They're
Why
like,
can't I
my
think of a
name's
single
Falafel
name?
Stevens. That's
No, but-
Falafel
Okay,
Stevens.
but then there's like multiple different ways people spell Stephen,
Oh, sure. Yeah. That was a good example there.
right?
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't. But they just whenever you say, "Do you mind just spelling it out for me?" 99% of the time they're like, what is Stephen?
It's probably how you say it. Here's what you do, B. Is that Steve with a V? And then it's fine. The Mikeadelic experience from Ottawa in Canada. Do you want to guess genre?
Probably some sort of.
I mean, you'd assume it's like some psychedelic rock or maybe an instrumental, I would say.
I'm gonna go.
You
I don't think it's metal. I just think it's heavy rock.
Do you?
Yeah.
Mikeadelic experience. I'm assuming
actually,
it might
the
not be
word
Mikeadelic experience.
The word experience actually makes me think it's going to be
Something trippy.
like electric.
Yeah, fair enough. Features Jogna Capella. Capella.
Fabio
with an
Capello.
E with a hat. This is Fog of the Future. I think we're listening to the first 30 seconds. Take it away, Mike. I love it. It's really
I like
good.
it. I like it. In a weird way, it's got a little bit of a Kasabian feel to it.
Kasabian for sure. Feels like a FIFA song.
Yeah.
Now, they're from Ottawa, Canada, so there's a small chance they know what we mean, but a big chance they don't
What about Kasabian?
about FIFA, but also Kasabian. But yeah, no, I don't know. The soccer,
I like
the
it.
football game FIFA always has banging like indie alternate tunes, or at least it used to. But yeah, that felt really good. I also, when people don't put a timestamp and we have to start at the start, it makes me worry because sometimes we'll listen to like 25 seconds of intro and then the song starts. It was straight in.
Yeah.
So that was a good decision. Yeah.
I like
Bill,
it. Really clean.
cool sound.
I like those kind of distorted, kind of wacky vocals.
Also, the Mikeadelic experience, and I'm also, it might not be that. So, one thing I would ask for,
Mike or Delic.
if you if you are going for like the one word vibe, which is, I will say, and if you go back, and you probably won't, but if you go back and listen to other episodes, you'll hear me talk about searchability and making sure that like your name is commercially viable. That is, to have one word like that, where if I punch that into Google, I will find you. It's great, but just capitalize it so I know what to say. Because he could be the Mike Delic experience, the Mick Edelice experience. There's a lot of ways you could say it. I'm assuming it's Mike Delic experience. I will say, on the Instagram, looks great. He looks like an absolute golden retriever human. You know what I mean? Just the greatest sort of guy. You go to him with your problems, he brings you a cat in the bag. He's, I don't know, he just looks like a happy man. So I love that about him. Look at him.
He does look happy.
So happy.
He looks like you wanna have a beer with him.
Yeah, I do want to have a beer with him. Yeah. Shame he's in Ottawa. So thanks for the submission. I don't have a lot. I have nothing to say.
No, I don't.
But in a good way.
No feedback.
There's no constructive feedback for that. It sounds great. Adding it to the playlist. So as always, if you go into the description below, you can find our Spotify playlist, which is full of amazing bands. Yeah, I was going to make a joke, but and be like, and say someone who else is on the playlist. But everyone's great on there. The next band is the Duponts.
The Duponts.
Now, we've spoken before about
Duponts.
How you know someone is from America is when they put the location, but it's like York, and there's 1,000 Yorks around the world.
What have they put?
And this one may be my favourite of all time they've ever done. Athens.
Athens?
In Georgia. Now, I don't know, man. I don't know if the Duponts, which, by the way, I like the name. The Duponts is cool. But I don't know if they've heard of a little place called Athens.
Yeah, because Athens. So they're from a place called Athens.
Yeah.
In Georgia.
It's a city in Georgia. Yeah. Looks nice
like,
enough.
I just want to make it clear, well, we are taking the mick out of Americans. There's no getting around it.
Yeah.
But that's just how you guys are.
It's
not a malice.
If
there's no malice, right? It's just how you guys are.
Just say as well,
you don't know that there's anything outside of America.
There's a huge chance that they're like, what are they talking about? I said I was from Athens. Athens is in Georgia. Now, there's two things that you're not considering here. One is Athens in Greece, right? Which is the Athens.
That's the Athens. If someone says, I'm going on holiday to Athens, right? I would say anyone outside of Georgia,
the state.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get
because there's stay tuned. there's more to come. But anyone outside of the state of Georgia, right? If you said I'm going to Athens, they'll be like, "Oh my god, I've always wanted to go to Athens. It's amazing."
And they're like, "Really? There's like it's just a town with 12,000 people."
What are you talking about? Like I've never been to Europe. I can't wait to go to Athens. Right, and then as you alluded to, Georgia.
Now Georgia's a separate issue, and here's the point, and this is why we're not just ragging on Americans.
No.
We're not. We have all of the love in the heart for Americans.
Hey, we take the piss out of ourselves
just as much.
But we're British. That's what we do.
I saw a video specifically about Georgia, and there was someone talking about Georgia and how, like, in the country Georgia, blah blah blah, and there's like some facts about Georgia, and all of the comments were like, Georgia's a country now. Like, is Georgia not part of the United States? Like, genuinely, it was full of people like that. And it's like, no, there is a country called Georgia.
Georgia's always been a country.
Probably where your state got its name.
Yeah. Similar flag to us.
Yeah.
Didn't
we own them at some point? Probably.
We owned everyone at some point. Probably owned Georgia at some point.
The person or both as well.
The state.
Anywho, the DuPont.
The DuPonts from America.
Athens, but from Georgia, but from America. Yeah, any guesses? They sound proper indie rock, don't they?
It does sound indie. It's hard to not just say it's going to be sort of commercial indie sort of stuff.
This song is called The Melt. They've asked for 127, but it's on Spotify, so I'm going to blast you with a little bit of it. Oh, I can't get up there. Was that a recorder? Well, they do have recorders in America. Or they've featured with Richard. Okay, 127. This is Melt by the Duponts.
Is it enough to ask for our bodies to melt together? us out.
I think we went long, but that's fine. Do
I
you know what
love that.
happened though? Is apologies because you said 227 and Spotify's a bag of dicks, so it didn't actually do 227. Also, didn't realize I wasn't sharing my screen. I was going through their Instagram like I normally do, having a little look at their pictures. Handsome lads playing gigs. Yeah, really cool sound.
I love it.
I was really into it. There was
Really smooth. I pulled a weird face because there was I was trying to work out in the background there was like a woo. I was trying to work out if it was an instrument or like an electric noise or if it was someone just going ooh.
Did you get a conclusion?
Nah, that's why I was pulling the face. Nah, before that.
Together so we can be as one.
Yeah, I do hear it. It sounds like a theremin.
It was going on for ages, and I was
Um,
like, "That's impressive breath work." Is that someone?
There's I have a bit of constructive feedback, and it's just from very, very recently. An old, very good old friend of mine hit me up and wanted the recordings from my old band. So when I was like 16, was in a band, played a bunch of gigs, made a few songs. In hindsight, it's always you look back and you're like, okay, I could have done a lot better now, like the music we make now. But listening to the songs, I was like, these sound better than I remember. Like I always felt really embarrassed for people to listen now, and now I don't. I was like, they sounded fine for what they were, but there were some like the vocals when you're listening to a couple of the recordings were really like they didn't feel. When you record, you have an opportunity to make every single bit perfect, right? So instrumentally there, everything was perfect. Every note was right. Every instrument sat at the right. But then the vocals didn't feel like that. And I think they were intentionally spacey and intentionally a bit like Bowie and a bit trippy.
Bowie.
But it was the two vocals didn't blend well. I felt like that, like they would be singing different things at different times and it just clashed a little bit. But the actual overall sound was wicked. It's very unique. And to make indie music that's unique is quite difficult.
Yeah, I think it was really good.
I think they've done a great
enjoyed
job.
it.
Good for them. They look look like they're loving life. Awesome. So that's the Duponts. Check them out. The Instagram is linked below, and that song, I need to put that song onto the Spotify playlist. That'd be a good one for the playlist as well.
Yeah, I love. We could almost like start doing subcategories in our playlist now because there's a bunch of songs that because our playlist at the moment is so good, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that doesn't go together.
Yeah,
you're
sure.
going from one song to the next. So I think at some point we might do something
maybe
like
in
that.
years, though.
Like,
I
yeah,
think,
maybe
because we need enough songs on each.
Definitely. But already at the moment, there's quite a really good mix of like chill songs.
Yeah.
That I would just be like, I don't know, if you're like studying or doing some work or just gaming or something.
Yeah.
There's a real good playlist there of
There's
like
some great
of just
instrumental
background
tracks.
music to have it, just in the background. I don't know why I said background music in the background. But yeah, just really nice songs to just have.
I think
on.
you mean ambient music.
Ambient music.
Ambient music in the background. Or background music in the ambient. Let's spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Because that didn't mean anything. Cool. Yeah, let's spin the wheel, get our third band and listen to them. Also, can I go back to the Mikeadelic experience? No. Fuck. Sorry, Mike.
Go on then. What?
Can I just throw out, so the one thing I did notice, if you go to the Mikeadelic experience on Instagram, and again, this isn't me outing you at all, you're doing what a lot of people think is the right thing to do.
Yeah, the follows.
But you have 700 you're following 700 people more than what follow you. You need to unfollow, I would say, 1,700 people, right? So this number here, if that said 51 following, then your Instagram looks like you're.
Do you know what I'm going to add? Because I think what happens, right, is I think sometimes don't get me wrong, the people they know what they're doing. They're following people to get a follow, right? Follow for a follow. Yeah. Right, which we've already explained. Just you can see straight through that. If you're like an organizer or whatever, you see what's going on there. Those followers will automatically, they're like, well, this isn't 17,000 people that are following him, right? There's 17,000 people that have followed this person because they want a follow. Yeah. Because everyone wants to be famous, right? But I think there is a little bit of, well, people are just like, well, this is my account and I follow a bunch of accounts on Twitter or whatever, right? I think this is why it's important. At some point, you need a separate Twitter account or separate accounts on social media, all platforms that are your, this is my business, this is my music account.
Yeah, agree.
This is the band's account. And then the band maybe follow 4 or 5 people, right?
I think you can follow like 20.
Yeah,
30,
maybe
50.
20, 30, right? But keep it definitely below 100.
Yeah.
Right? And you should follow just either bands that inspire you or bands that you like or whatever. They should just be bands, right? Just so that you're like, these are the bands we like. So people can be like, oh, this band are into these bands, right? That's fine. But don't follow anyone else. And that's just your business account. That's where you post all your band stuff. That's where you do everything you want. You can also have this other account running and you can mention, that you're in a band and you can still try and send people over to your band account as well. But that way you can do whatever you want with that account. Do whatever you want with that your account. You can follow people for follows, whatever. Because it might end up being a good way to sort of get people into the other platform. But you definitely need a social media account for your band that only has people following it that are actually into the band.
Yeah, 100%. And I think to make it like really, really clear as well, like this is great to have 1,000 followers on Instagram is huge, but it's the point we made a couple weeks ago, that this number means nothing to an event promoter or a label or anyone like that, because they'll see this one first. So they'll go, okay, this account, and in their eyes, this account has 0 followers. So if you drop this down, you unfollow everyone. It will take absolutely ages, but just unfollow everyone. Most people won't notice. So out of these 1,010 followers, most people won't notice that you've unfollowed them. Even if half of them do and they unfollow you because they're like, oh, there was a follow for follow.
Then you've still got
got 500 followers, and they are just your followers, right? They're not some exchange. So yeah, I don't know. From my own experience and from seeing the right way of doing things, I think you've done good. You've got the followers up now. But just remove those following, and then suddenly your Instagram will look absolutely massive. And then people that are coming onto your page also see like, oh, 1,000 people follow this guy. He's not following that many people. He must be a pretty legit musician. And the only reason we give that feedback to people is because the product is good.
Yeah.
So your music is great. It sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. If you had a bad product, we wouldn't be going into it because it was like...
Yeah, it'd be like, good luck for you.
Yeah.
But the product is so good. So that's just a little tip. I've given it to a couple people before. One of them has said thank you and then not done anything. So I'm like, okay, fair enough, crack on. But yeah,
people don't have to do shit.
No, true. 2 great submissions. Let's spin the wheel. Let's listen to a third band this week. And that third band is going to be...
Gah Ming.
Gah Ming.
Gah Ming.
Gah Ming.
Gah Ming.
It's like we say to
Yeah,
gam.
do you want a gam? Do you want to have a gam? Gah Ming.
Gah Ming. Okay. I'm going to cut to you. You get
It's
the blind pick now.
Very hot.
You're going to tell...
It's so hot.
Fair enough.
It's roughly 32 degrees in this room at the moment.
I found that so quickly.
You found that quick?
I
thought I was going to... Well, because I don't have my fan in here at the moment because it makes too much noise. But when I have my fan in here, it's got a thermometer on it. And it's normally, like yesterday, it was around about 35 degrees most of the day. Which is just too hot. It's too hot. For like in America, that's like, I don't know, like 100 degrees or something stupid. I don't know. Fahrenheit. But yeah, it's just hot, dude.
89.
It's just hot.
89.6
89.6
Fahrenheit.
But yeah, no,
that's too hot. People would set it to like 70,
It's too hot, right? It's too hot.
Yeah, I feel that. We're going to listen to Gah Ming from Vancouver, British Columbia. They did say British Columbia, Vancouver.
I like it.
Love that. And you know why that is? Because they're Canadian.
Yeah, you know, well, they've at some point they've got like British values in there.
Vancouver, right? Vancouver as well. If you'd put Vancouver, I'd guess.
Yeah, to be fair. Well, to be fair,
but they've even said British Columbia, Vancouver.
Well, to be fair as well, right? I feel like you can get away if you're American, you live in New York City, you can just put New York City, right? Yeah. Like that's I'll allow that, and it's the same with like Vancouver and. You know,
I very optimistically just looked to see if there was a Vancouver in Athens because I thought that'd be funny.
Athens, Vancouver.
Yeah, maybe it's just down the road. No, there's not. Yeah. Anyway, this is Gah Ming from the British Columbia. Do you have any guesses to genre?
With a name like that, it's hard to. I don't know.
I do have. I've just had a little peek at the album art, which would make me lean towards something hip hop.
Well, I was going to say rap without any.
Yeah, it feels that way. And then they did have a timestamp as well, so I'm going to cut to the wide quickly to check the timestamp. I think it was like 1:52, which I'll try my best, but Spotify's shite. So here we go. Here's Gah Ming. Why would it start at 10 seconds?
Another household star.
Love is kinda crazy with a spooky little girl like you.
With a girl like you's too good to be true. You're in my mind and I've thought this through. Imagine our life with a son and a daughter. Number 1 mom and a top 10 father. I'm sucking now, but I'm thinking long term. Not a contract, but I want this firm. Let's have love, baby, it's our turn. I could be your favorite like a green deer fern. We could have a house on the hill, not the city. No one else around, we could call it our home.
It's so
That's
good.
sick.
It's so fucking good.
That's just good. That's just good
Do you
quality.
know what that is? That's very...
Top job.
It's very Gorillaz.
Yeah, it is kind of, yeah.
I
Very,
think that's it. I don't
very
really have another
Gorillaz
one.
inspired.
But it sounds fucking sick.
Yes.
I thought at the start it sounded good, and then it got into like the actual meat and potatoes of it, and it sounds brilliant. That's so good. Is this live or have they gone somewhere else? Oh, I think that's someone else.
I'd be very impressed.
Well, it can happen, and it would just be like it'd be a desk and then singing over the top of it.
Yeah.
Usually, until you're massive and you can get session musicians.
But yeah, no, that was just good stuff.
Please correct us if we're saying gaming. Is it gaming? But then that means that the first, I don't know.
It's Gam. It's Gam. That's how it's GAM. Gam.
But it sounds fucking sick. It's so good.
Yeah, really good. No complaints.
Love that.
I didn't really have any feedback. It was just good. I don't
It
know.
was so
I
good.
Just, like,
It's- that's-
just keep making music.
Every now and again, because the thing is, with a show like this, you listen to a lot of stuff. So you're not going to love everything, but we respect everything.
Well,
I
and this
respect
is the thing.
everything that gets sent to us.
We've already described it. There's a difference between not being into a certain type of music,
Yeah.
and hating it.
Yeah,
Do you know
or
what I mean?
even...
And sometimes, like I say it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't think I would ever listen to this again because it's just not my music. However,
But it's
it's
good.
really good.
Yeah.
Like, and
No,
that's
100%.
difference. But there are songs like that like I
I'd
would
slap my
I would
tits off. that dude.
absolutely just have that on a playlist.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And again, I'm like, it's 30 degrees. The windows are down. I'm driving.
Yeah, this is my
I've got my
metric.
dog in the front
This is my
seat.
metric. Is can I imagine listening to this in a car on a hot summer's day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking
yeah,
on repeat,
right,
baby.
mate.
Oh, he's gone floppy. With that note, who's seeing it?
Oh.
What do you think?
What do you mean?
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
it's good.
stuff.
It's
I'm
good
happy
stuff.
to end it there because that was great.
Yeah,
Three
I've-
great submissions.
I've got nothing really else to add either.
We had a
to be honest.
Gorillaz vibe. We had like a Kasabian-y FIFA song.
Yeah,
We just had good music.
yeah, it's good.
That's
all
three
round.
good
Three
submissions.
good
One a bit
submissions.
more psychedelic, but still sounded great. Still indie rock. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
We've got. Do you know what I was going to say about that? We never mentioned. We never spoke about it.
What's that?
And I don't know if it's because we were drunk. I'm going back a few weeks now. We went
Drunk?
to. I'm going to tell a story. Yeah.
When were we drunk? Other than like last week?
Like a couple of weeks before that, we went to a family member's birthday party.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it was they rented out a floor in like a bar. Was cool, dark little pub place. Had loads of drinks, and then towards the end they brought in pizzas. So there were loads of pizzas that they lined out, right? But it was dark, and I think we kind of went through the same motions. But one of the funniest things ever happened, and I don't know if it will translate as a story, but someone came over and was like, "Ben, your phone is on. Your phone torch is on in your pocket. Do you not remember this? You can't. Oh my god, this is. We laughed so hard. I almost passed out. I was crying. Someone was like, "Your phone's on," which is really embarrassing if your phone torch is on in your pocket.
Oh yeah,
Whole
it's like a
bad move.
boomer alert.
But because I knew as soon as it happened, you were next to me, and someone was like, "Your phone's on," and we were sat eating our pizzas, and I was like, "He's just gone and used his phone to check the pizzas." And
Oh,
straight away, I remembered that I had done the same, and I went, "Baby, don't worry about it." And I pulled out my phone, and my torch was on as well. We had this moment of fat man
Yeah,
solidarity.
to
of
be
like, we
fair,
can
no,
take the
I kind of
pizzas.
do remember that now because it was dark
Yeah,
and there
yeah.
was a bunch of pizzas lined up and I didn't know what pizza was which.
Yeah.
So I used my phone to make
to
sure
check.
I've got good slices.
And then your hands are full with the pizzas.
And
your phone goes
I'm
back in the
also
pocket.
once I've got a plate full of pizza, right? I'm like drooling at this stage.
Sure.
Like I'm not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't,
It
I
was
could be
just-
on fire.
I've just replayed the fact that as soon as I saw your phone and someone was like, your phone.
You're like he's used it to check the pieces.
Yeah, but how did I have the confidence that mine was also on? Do you know what I mean? Because I hadn't been like, oh, I'll turn that off later. I had forgotten that my torch was on, but it was the fact that I just went, happy. No, check this. My phone blasted you. Anyway, that's a little story about being fat and eating pizza in the dark. We'll see you next week. Here's one thing that I might do next week.
What's that?
Someone has just shown me that they have digital. They put it on a Google Drive. The first songs I've ever written. When I was like 14, I started writing music.
I want to listen to it so bad. I bet it's fucking awful.
I can remember what they were.
I bet
and
it's
they're not great.
awful.
But
I bet I'm going to make a prediction right now. I bet they're all about girls.
I don't think they are.
No?
I was a very deep songwriter back then.
Yeah, no, but it's like Reddit
Yeah.
r/
No, some of them are.
like I'm 14 and this
but
is
I'm
deep.
thinking what we might do is maybe we just scroll through that album. But what I guess I'll tell the story later. But basically, the first time when I learned guitar and I could sing and I was playing other people's songs, I was like, I could just write songs, right? So I wrote 9 songs, and then it was like studio. I had 9 songs, and as I've said many times, it takes me realistically, it probably takes me 20 songs to write one good song. But I had 9 ever. And was like, let's make sure these are recorded in a studio. So I went into a studio. I recorded them acoustically. So I've got the acoustics CD. Maybe next week we listen to some of that.
But it's good though. You're laughing about it because like no one who's 14 writes a good song, right? And there might be 14-year-olds listening to this being like, I've written a banger. Trust me, in 10 years.
Like you haven't.
Trust me, in
have.
10 years, you'll look back at it and go, "Oh my god, that's so embarrassing."
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
everyone goes through it. Everyone has done stuff like that. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Everyone can look back when you're 14 and go, "What was I thinking?"
Do you know
Jesus
what it is?
Christ. I look
Even
back
Ed
at stuff I
Sheeran-
was doing when I was 18.
I look back at something
Like-
last week. No, even Ed Sheeran on talk shows has said before that like the first song he ever written.
Oh,
he
yeah,
has
yeah,
a
he's-
tape of it.
yeah,
and
he
he's like,
showed
this
it.
is terrible.
Yeah, and he can't sing.
Other people were like, it isn't terrible, but to him, it is terrible. So maybe
Oh, no,
that'd be
no,
the
no, but
case.
it was
This-
terrible.
and
I
my
mean,
stuff
it
was
was
terrible.
terrible.
Anyway, so we'll listen to that next week. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get the link sent over. Thanks for listening, folks.
Ciao.
Love you. Bye.